them succeeding by the end of Friday.
For many, it makes economic sense. For many countries, it's better for the energy and Paris Agreement is very important, especially as some countries are thinking of withdrawing from it. Okay, we can talk numbers now, we can talk about the quantity for the new finance goal, let's pick sources for climate finance, and then a bigger number on top of it that describes how many investments are needed. There's no doubt that it takes.
Which talks about feminist justice and how they are calling for climate justice, which is really missing. And we also see lack of apathy and leadership from developed countries, especially progress. So 8-9 days have passed, and so the outcome that we saw coming out of G20 is backsliding from the previous commitments. We saw the statement mentioning the COP28 agreement, but only in parts, and no language on transitioning away from fossil fuels. And that's a betrayal, because what we want G20 and other such summits to underscore that the world has decided to transition away from fossil fuels. It clearly seems that they want to continue using fossil fuels, and that's the reality we are facing. If you look at the developed countries such as Australia, Canada, Norway, US, UK, they have plans to expand their fossil fuel extraction. In fact, they are the ones who are leading that between now and 2050. And at the same time, they are not providing money to developing countries to move away from fossil fuels. So the G20 declaration does mention billions to trillions, which is a welcome move, because that's exactly the amount of money that we need, trillions annually, to make a transition and to help developing countries protect their people, but not talking about how big this new climate finance goal going to be is a missed opportunity, because that signal would have helped COP29 process a lot more, where developing countries have been asking developed countries to talk about the scale of finance. Something which is very worrying for us to look at the G20 statement, where they have picked up elements on low emissions and removal technologies and things that are going to promote offset, but not specifically mentioning transitioning away from fossil fuels. The decision that we got at COP28 was historic but not perfect. And if we only talk about things that are going to allow us to continue with fossil fuels, is not an encouraging sign. We wanted a very strong language on transitioning away from fossil fuels, which is missing, but all the bad elements are there.
The trajectory, and obviously it's the countries in the global north that need to show leadership on transitioning away from fossil fuels, to also show that it's feasible, that it's possible, that it brings benefit. And if you look at the US, that hasn't really happened, and it's unlikely to happen under the Trump presidency. So we need to work more on the demand reduction and the economic case.